Ria's wish is stated as, turn me into a naturally beautiful girl. Compare this to other wishes. Mommy wished to live. Madoka wished to erase witches. Sayaka wished to heal a boy's hands. These are external changes or survival instincts. The phrasing, turn me into, implies a state of being that she did not possess before. Ria wished for the state of being a natural girl itself, in the context of how magic reshapes reality. It rewrites the body. It alters memory. Her wish includes a clause that no one else would remember what she was like previously. This is erasure. It's the desire to leave the past behind completely. For many trans people, this resonates deeply. Transition is often about aligning the external body with the internal self. It's about becoming naturally yourself, so that the question never arises. The desire to be seen as natural is a response to the fear of being seen as constructed or fake. Ria's wish bypasses the struggle. She used magic to become the girl she always was on the inside, and she scrubbed the history that contradicted that truth. Whether the writers intended this specific reading is irrelevant to the impact it actually has. And for those of us reading between the lines, it speaks a language we understand. It speaks of dystopia, the feeling that your current form is not your natural form. It speaks of euphoria, the result of the wish granted, where she becomes the model, the beauty, the girl who commands the room. The symbolism extends to her doppel. In Magia Record, when a girl's soul gem becomes too corrupted, they summon a doppel instead of becoming a witch. The doppel is a manifestation of their inner struggles, their fears, and their desires. It is a monster, but it's also part of them. Ria's doppel is named Heidi Jekyll. Her doppel is hyper-feminine and star-like. It attracts admirers, yet when she summons it, Ria herself actually disappears. Fans have interpreted this as the separation between the pre-transition self and the post-transition self, but there is another reading. The disappearance represents the feeling of not being fully present in your own body until the transformation takes hold. Her magic ability is concealment, and she also hides her past. It is the magic of controlling what people see. She curates her image so carefully because the stakes feel life or death in the game that she's playing. She uses her magic in order to make things vanish. This is the utility of someone who has learned to hide parts of themselves to survive. Then there is the incident of her name. In certain scenes within her side story and Magia Record, Ria introduces herself with high energy and stumbles as she ends up saying, "I'm Riley full of energy," before panicking and correcting herself. No, I'm Ria. Ria. Official confirmation of this line is elusive. The Magia Record game servers have shut down. The scripts are archived in fan memories and translations. Some say it's a localization quirk. Some say it's a joke about her being scatterbrained. No official confirmation of this line exists other than fan speculation. But for the trans community, it landed like a stone in water and created ripple effects. Riley sounds pretty masculine. It sounds like a name given at birth. Ria is the name she chose for herself. The slip-up is a Freudian accident. It is the past bleeding through the present. The panic that follows is the fear of being outed. She corrects it immediately. Forcefully. Ria! She demands the correct name within herself, and she demands that the correction be acknowledged with the emphasis on Ria. I've spent time searching for the official script in order to confirm this, and I've come up empty. But I have come to realize that the lack of proof does not negate the feeling. And the feeling is that this fits. It fits the wish she made, and it fits the doppel, and it also fits her insecurity. Even if it was an accident in the writing room, it became truth in the reception. We claim these moments because they validate our experience. We see ourselves in the way that Ria stumbled with her words, and we also see ourselves in the way that she corrected herself. This is where my own history interacts with hers. I made videos about her where I ended up voicing as her. This was years ago. I was exploring gender themes in my life, but I didn't have the clarity on my feelings just yet, so I used her as my lens. Listening to the voice acting lines that I recorded now, there's actually subtext that I picked up on, which is undeniable.
My name is Ria Ami.
I found that I amplified the parts that resonated with my unspoken questions. I remember hearing myself say,
You wanna be my girlfriend? You must know my name. You must be as a girl and you must be around my age.
at the time, I thought I was being funny, channeling her arrogance. I thought I was playing a character who was picky about dating. However, through voicing her, I was telling myself that it was possible to be with another girl, since in that moment, I was one. When I said, fuck, I exist,
Fuck! I exist.
it was similar to the line I said back in the day, which was reporting for duty. Hey, this is Mommy Sexual reporting for duty. Basically saying I'm here and I exist, which is the very first hurdle. For many trans people, simply existing in your truth feels like an act of rebellion. Saying it out loud, even through a character, breaks the silence. And there was another line.
Wow, I'm a lesbian.
Then I also said,
Quieter than it usually is when I'm here. Kept you waiting, huh?
I was exploring sexuality alongside gender. I was using Ria's platform to test out labels. She gave me a safe place to say things I couldn't say as myself. In one of my analysis videos about her, I wrote that Ria likely lacked confidence in seeing her true beauty, since being beautiful is all a mindset. I mean, it was even Madoka's mother who so famously mentioned, more than how you look, it's about behaving as though you are a beautiful girl. Since beauty is nothing more than how you see yourself, and rather than compare yourself to others, it's better to realize that you have a unique, custom-made design that is unlike everyone else's. So yeah, I personally like to believe that Ria becoming beautiful could have really been nothing more than just her coming to accept herself 100%. I was analyzing her, but I was also prescribing a cure for myself. I projected my own desire for self-actualization onto her blank state. I needed her to be someone who remade herself, cause I was hoping I could do the same. I talked about her time loop story. In Magia Record, Ria gets stuck in a time loop regarding a fashion show. She fails over and over. The lights go out and she gets distracted and she ends up missing her cue. But she keeps trying. She learns to dance in the rain. She learns to control her response to the situation. This is the transition narrative. You try to present yourself. The lights go out. People misgender you. The system fails you. You have to try again the next day. You have to find a way to walk the runway.
I'm a model, you know what I mean, and I do my little turn on the catwalk.
Even when the production sucks, Ria's arc is about persistence. It's about refusing to let the external circumstances dictate your internal worth. When I wrote that analysis, I was telling myself to keep going. I was telling myself that the power lies within me. At the time, I didn't know I was writing my own manifesto. Now, why does this matter? Because representation is scarce. When a character resonates this deeply, it changes how you interact with media. It changes how you interact with yourself. For a long time, I thought I liked Ria because she was funny and flashy, and because I like blondes. Those things are of course true. The core is that she represented a possibility for myself. She represented a world where you could wish to be different and have the universe obey you. And the Madoka franchise, wishes come with a cost. That is the tragedy. But for Ria, the cost is hidden. We don't see her suffer in the same way we see Sayaka suffer. We actually see her succeeding. We see her modeling, and we see her living. This is a rare depiction. Often, trans characters in media are defined by their suffering, as well as their struggle. Ria is defined by the result, by the glamour, and by her confidence. This allows fans to imagine the struggle without being forced to watch it. We can infer the pain from the wish, but we get to see the joy in the present. This is a form of hope. It suggests that after the transformation, that there's life, and that there's a career, as well as friendship, and there's also fun. The fan community has embraced her for this reason. In spaces like Reddit and Tumblr, she's celebrated as canon trans representation in spirit. Threads from 2020 to 2025 discuss her as proof that trans girls can be magical girls. Cubate contracts based on emotional potential. What has higher emotional potential than the desire to be yourself? The logic seems to hold up. The magic system also supports supports it. Some critics worry that making her a joke character is problematic. They worry her vanity reinforces stereotypes. But I argue that her vanity is what makes her human. I would say that she's a survivor, using the tools that she has, like her sense of fashion and her love of beauty. Those are literally her weapons of choice, and they can be very effective. Just ask Madoka's mom. She certainly understands the importance of beauty and using it as a weapon when you go out into the world. Dismissing them as shallow ignores the work it takes to maintain that image when you feel fragile underneath. I know girls in general take hours in some cases to get dressed and to put on makeup. That's why it should never be dismissed, the outward beauty that you see, because there was a lot of effort that was placed behind that you more than likely didn't see, or that we didn't see. The lack of official confirmation from the start is a double-edged sword. We don't have the interview where the writer says, yes, she's trans. On the other hand, it means she actually belongs to us, meaning that she's like open source. We can write our own truth onto her without fear of it being contradicted by a sequel or a spin-off. She remains ambiguous, and in that ambiguity, she's our safe space. When representation is official, it can be taken away, and it can also be retconned. But when it's built on a shared interpretation, it's much harder to erase. We built this meaning together. We found the clues in the wish, in the doppel, in the name slip up, and we constructed a home in this character. My own journey with Ria reflects this. I don't need the developers to confirm she's trans for my experience with her to be valid. The videos I made are proof of what she meant to me. The lines I spoke are proof of what I was trying to say.
Sorry, everyone. I can't do it. I can't. I can't stop being hot.
It was basically my microphone. There's a line I spoke in one of my videos where I mentioned,
Quieter than it usually is when I'm here.
I now hear this as I've been in this place before. I have been in this feeling before. The feeling of knowing who you are before you have the words. The feeling of recognizing yourself in a reflection that isn't yours. Ria Ami stands in Kamahami City, posing for cameras, fighting witches, and demanding attention. And also a symbol for anyone who's ever wished to be naturally themselves. Fandom is often when we practice being our real selves through the characters we love.
Sorry, everyone. I can't do it. I can't. I can't stop being hot.
Sorry, everyone. I can't do it. I can't stop being hot.
I'm too sexy for my cat, for pussy cat.